Messi leaves Barcelona, City seal Grealish deal, Varane heads to Manchester, Arsenal target wants Everton move, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the One Footballers, and this is the Daily News. So first up, and the unthinkable has happened. Like, there was loads of talk about Messi leaving last summer. This summer there were rumours that he was going to leave. Now he signed a new contract, this, that and the other. And yesterday, the official message went out. Lionel Messi is no longer and will be no longer a Barcelona player. Honestly, I don't even really know where to start with this one. Lionel Messi and Barcelona apparently agreed a contract up until 2026, but due to trying to fit into the salary cap and La Liga's financial fair play regulations, they have not been able to register the player who has been with the club for so long, who is a generational player, and there'll be football fans out there who won't know anything else but Lionel Messi with Barcelona. At the moment, Barcelona will need to reduce their wage bill by around 200 million euros, and they haven't been able to do it because they haven't made the sales that they've needed to. The likes of Ousmane Dembele, Antoine Griezmann and Philippe Coutinho have all been linked with moves away from the club, but they haven't done it just yet, and they are taking up an enormous amount of money on their wage bill. In fact, they haven't been able to sign up Messi, and there are other rumours they may not even be able to bring the likes of Aguero and Depay, who they've both signed on a free this summer, into the fold if they cannot raise the amount of money required. On top of this, La Liga has announced a major new deal with investment funds, which would immediately give Barcelona about £200 million. That is enough to re-sign Messi, but in order to receive it, they need to agree not to break off and form the European Super League, which Barcelona and Real Madrid, as well as Juventus, are still holding on to. So after all of this, what does it mean for the future Lionel Messi? Well, there are a few options, but the main two that everyone's talking about is either going to Manchester City for that dream link up with Pep Guardiola once again, or a move to PSG. Both of them seems like absolute fantasy, even up to a few months ago, but now they are a definite possibility. I mean, the thought of him lining up with the likes of Jack Grealish and Harry Kane, if all of those deals happen at Manchester City, would be astonishing, with Kevin De Bruyne providing the assists. But then equally, the thought of him lining up with not only Kylian Mbappe and Neymar up front of PSG, but being a teammate of Sergio Ramos is equally ridiculous. Whatever happens, it is literally one of the most landmark days in the recent history of football. Of course, there will be more to come and more fallout from Barcelona, as today President Juan Laporta is speaking to the press. This video has been recorded before that press conference, so for all of that fallout, make sure you check out the OneFootball app for loads of the latest news. Of course, by the time this video comes out, there'll probably be some new news, because this is what happened in the last few days. Yesterday, I said how Lionel Messi was just about to sign on the dotted line and become a Barcelona player again. And then that happened. So over the weekend, I'm sure there'll be loads more news, and we'll check back on all of it on Monday's Daily News. So next up then, and actually we're talking about Manchester City, and they have signed Jack Grealish for £100 million. Now this makes him the 9th most expensive transfer of all time, the most expensive British transfer of all time, and well, it's very, very unusual that a £100 million signing goes largely unnoticed because, well, the whole Lionel Messi thing happened. So yes, whilst everyone was talking about Messi, Grealish did sign on the dotted line, and Manchester City have their new player. We mentioned the other day that it may mean the exit for Bernardo Silva, but as for now, Jack Grealish joins an insanely talented team and fights for one of those places in the attacking midfield lineup. Not so sure whether he's going to start out on the left. Maybe he'll be one of the midfield three most further forward. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how Pep Guardiola lines up his side next season. Of course, like we just mentioned a minute ago, this could be with Lionel Messi maybe in the false nine, maybe Grealish off the left-hand side. It could be with Harry Kane through the middle, Messi on the right, Grealish on the left. There are so many possibilities, but what we do know is that Grealish has left Aston Villa, his boyhood club, after so many years at the club. But on top of all of this is actually quite I'd say a feel-good story for Aston Villa fans. Of course, they're going to be gutted they've lost one of their best players in the last few years, a homegrown player. But the club definitely know what they're doing, and they've had a plan in place for quite some time because it's been obvious that sooner or later Grealish was going to leave. Aston Villa CEO Christian Purslow actually has been speaking about this and said that they identified all of the traits and skills that Grealish brings to the team. His creativity, his goals, his assists, this, that and the other. And they've identified a few attacking players to try and replace him. Of course, when you've got a player as talented as Grealish, it's very difficult to find a like for like. I mean, if they found a like for like Grealish, they'd have to spend 100 million to sign him. And if he was cheaper, Manchester City would have bought the cheaper version. Anyway, they've planned all along to let Grealish go and use the money to bring in 3 forwards, and they've done exactly that. They've brought in Leon Bailey, they've brought in Danny Ings out of absolutely nowhere and made me look an absolute fool. And on top of all of this, there's of course Emi Buendia, whose deal was done at the beginning of the transfer window as well. Next up then, and to the Raphael Varane transfer. Yes, that one is still ongoing and it hasn't officially been done just yet, although everything is completely agreed. Manchester United and Real Madrid have agreed the price. He's agreed a deal to until 2025 with the red half of Manchester, and they're getting quite a good defender in return. Varane is flying to the UK, will follow the quarantine rules and then have his medical with Manchester United and be unveiled officially as a player. Now, is he going to make the start of the season? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer thinks that he and fellow signing Jadon Sancho have a good chance of being on the bench. Both of them haven't had a full pre-season after being involved in both England and France's Euro 2020 squads respectively, so they've been on holiday, there's been a lot of discussions, eventually the deals have been made, but they need to get a little bit of fitness back first. In fact, the opening weekend of the Premier League, La Liga, pretty much every other season, I'd be very surprised if we saw a lot of Euro 2020 players. I mean, most of them only returned to training on Monday, and some of them, like Harry Kane, haven't even come back to training just yet. It'll be interesting to see how they fit back into their squads, but for Rafa Varane, the guy's got a wealth of experience. I was actually just checking everything that he's won and everything he's done at Real Madrid. It's astonishing, really. 10 years at the club, from the ages of 18 to 28, 360 appearances, 18 trophies, including 3 La Ligas and 4 Champions League titles. I mean, people can say what they like, that he's past his best, Real Madrid are getting rid of him when he's past his peak, this, that and the other. The guy's success rate speaks for itself. I mean, him and Harry Maguire, I think this is going to be a really good signing. Put it this way, if he does flop, which I hate using that word, it'll be far more of a surprise than him actually doing brilliant, because he is a brilliant player. Up next then, and to Arsenal, who have made a bid for Lazio's Joaquin Correa of around 17 million euros, and that has been completely and utterly dismissed by the Serie A club because it's inadequate, according to their spokesperson. On top of all of this, he doesn't even want to move to Arsenal. The reports from Italy are saying that he wants to move to Everton and link up with Rafa Benitez. The player can play all across the front 3 positions and will bring some much-needed pace to this Everton attack. His link-up play and style with Richarlison could actually see Everton form a very dangerous front line next season. Last season, he had a pretty good year in Serie A, contributing 11 goals and 6 assists in 38 appearances, and would be a very good signing for around 30 million euros. If, though, Everton do strike a deal of around 30 million, obviously, if Arsenal are still interested, they'll be able to raise their price, knowing how much it's going to cost to bring him in, but it's all about whether or not they actually think he's needed. Personally, I think Arsenal have some fantastic attackers, and they don't necessarily need Correa at the moment. They should probably make use of what they've got. Of course, as has been discussed with Arsenal before, it looks like if they're going to bring in any other attackers, they will need to get rid of one first, including Alexander Lacazette. Finally then, a quick round-up of the rest of the day's transfer news, and Southampton have now turned their attention to Tammy Abraham as they are looking for a replacement for Danny Ings. Manchester United still want to bring in Kieran Trippier, but Atletico Madrid won't budge on his €34 million release clause. Spurs are ever closer to signing Christian Romero after he completed his medicals in North London on Thursday night. And lastly but not least, if Benfica are to sell Uruguayan forward Darwin Núñez, they want around €30 million. So there you have it from a shocking, unbelievable day of news. Make sure you check out everything else we've got going on, and until next time, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later.